Come on. This is staying in there too. We're not even editing that shit out. But haha, welcome to another episode of Getting Naked with Nasty, uncovering the beats with Nasty on the Beats. I am Nasty on the Beats, www.nastyonthebeats.com. Baby, we back. Excited about this episode like I am with every episode. But this one with a special kind of excitement because whereas I could tell you locations and circumstances under which I made a lot of my beats, this one I can tell you the exact day that I made this beat. June 25th of this year, which is my birthday. So I made 45 this year. I put out my 45 project. I was in Lafayette, Louisiana, and just resting up. Spent some time in Baton Rouge. I said, well, let me just get away. And I went to Lafayette and spent a couple of days out there, ate, rested, shot basketball. You know, I'm a real leisure, recreation, arts guy. So, you know, just to keep my peace and my sanity, very creative and so forth. And so I ended up going to a coffee shop in, later on towards the early part of the evening. And after having a great day of working out and shooting basketball and so forth. And I specifically heard the Lord give me a name. And that name was Melba Moore, who's an awesome R&B singer. I've known about her for years. And I just felt that name come up in my spirit. And so I went to sample some stuff from her. So that's what we're going to get into today. This was a part of my Nook series, Nook series. And this beat is called Droog Holland. Droog Holland. DREUGHAALUUN. Priest, where the fuck did you get that name from? Well, you know. Just, like I said, I got to pull something quickly. So, you know, I make so many beats, and a lot of times what I'll do is if I'm working with a certain set of samples and I hit something that can, you know, few pads that can make another dope beat, whether I use that part of the sample or not, maybe it makes a better beat than the one I'm working on. Maybe it makes a totally different beat and I can get away with it. You know what I mean? And I got to quickly get in there and give the beat a name. You know what I mean? So first thing that comes to mind, okay, let's do something weird. Just to make distinction. And so that's what this was. We went into that coffee shop and immediately plugged in and started working with it. And we're going to play the sample and then we're going to go from there. All right, let's go to here. And then we go to all. All right, so it's obviously pitched up. And it's a song called "I Am His Lady." I guess I'm giving this shit away, but it's called "I Am His Lady," and I liked how it sounded when I pitched it up. And so that's what I worked with. So that's the sample there. Put that back on one. All right. Obviously, and let me say this: I haven't talked about this yet, and there's no real endorsement I'm getting from it. But shout out to Akai. I got this MPC one, and I'm in love with it. You know what I mean? One day, eventually, I'm gonna try to go back to an older version of the MPC, test out the 1000, the 2000 XL, maybe the 3000. You know what I mean? This is my introduction to using the MPC. Now, I told you when I was in college, we used to make beats and you know, we had a crew and everything, you know, group then. So I was around people that was associated with my crew that worked with the MPC 1000, my homeboy Merc, some of the guys from Ill Relatives, shout out to them. I believe they used to work with the MPC 2000 XL. I believe that's the sound they had. Very familiar with DJ High Tech. He's probably the person I know, not personally, but who I know who really had a rich sound that I appreciated about the MPC. If I'm correct, that's what he was working with. So I was very familiar with it as an instrument, as a beat machine or what have you, and sampler, but I never worked with it. I didn't get into working with hardware other than the Roland MC303, which is kind of a drum and bass tech, is kind of leans more to that side. I worked with that for a few years, probably right at about 10 years, in and out. And then obviously I started out with FL Studio, Fruity Loops, and did a lot with that. So this is my first piece of hardware. You're talking, 20, 24, 25 years into being in music. And so, but I'm in love with it. And I said, if I ever get a hold, because I know who I am as a musician, if I ever get a hold of 16 pads, because I know what I did with Fruity Loops, I'm gonna be something on here. So, just a little information for you. Alrighty, let's get into this. We go here to track mute. Oh, there's no drums on it. I was going to say that's an awful minimum tracks here. Okay, yeah, there's no drums, so this is gonna be pretty simple. Here we go. Just show you how I chopped it up. We're gonna start. Put that shit on 6. Oh yeah. Okay. Here. That's on the 7. On the 8. All right. On the 9. Driver. Okay, right at the end. Damn. There it is. Oh yeah. All right, let's just do the first two, 6 and 7. Oh yeah. All right, let's just go ahead and get to it. Let's not try to make it something that is not. You song. We're gonna play this song mode. Drew Holland. Oh, we're gonna do that again. I got all my tracks muted. Come on. This is staying in there too. We're not even editing that shit out. We make mistakes here. It's okay. Song. So let's try one more time. out what I'm gonna do with it. I think I started writing to this. This is gonna be on my I got a project called The Heat of an Open Soul. It's a longer title than that, but that's the last part of it. The Heat of an Open Soul. And I think it's gonna be on that. And I was talking to a buddy about that yesterday. But that's what it is, folks. Getting naked with Nasty, uncovering the beats with Nasty on the Beats. I am Nasty on the Beats. www.nastyonthebeats.com. Holla!